And I'm not going to share the presentation like the PowerPoint only because I know I'm going to be showing you guys things um, on the fly. I'm going to be showing you videos. This is 2 hours, and I want this to be an opportunity for you to get questions about ethics, get questions. I mean, you can ask me anything about CEs, and if I know the answer, I will answer it. If I don't, I will get the answer for you. Also, it's kind of funny. I did this training already with some friends because, I wanted to run through. I wanted to see kind of what people, where they kind of stood on things. And it was really interesting because I think when we talk about doing CE courses, at least when I get asked from like lots of different ways, lots of different directions. So if I don't answer a question in the way you're thinking about it, please ask me. So, a little housekeeping, go ahead and pull your chat out and pull it off to the side. Let's just keep that open. Also, you will see a link. There it is. That's your attendance link. And on the Google form is a number, and that goes on your certificate, or it just needs to line up. Please don't stress if you miss the number. That's really for us. If we get audited, we need to make sure all of our records line up since we're giving you a blank certificate. So honor system here. All right. So if you're, so okay. You know what might help? I know I'm stuttering a little bit. Why don't you guys take about 30 seconds and just type the question, the thing you know you want to leave with, type it into the chat. And if you don't have a question, that's okay. I got lots to talk about, but I really do want to know where people are coming from. Good. Hmm, good. Yep, good. Excellent. These are great questions. And it's just like my friends, when I presented this the first time, they were kind of asking everything from software to marketing to content creation. Uh, oh, Olivia, great question. And our speaker tomorrow uh, for the expert webinar, she's going to talk about that even in more depth. So I'll talk about that a little bit though. All right. So this is, and it's funny because this in the summertime, most of the time our client loads are lower. So I tend to think about, okay, here, let's do all the things to get our practices going where they need to get going. And so side hustles, that's what always comes into my mind. Like, oh, okay, you're going to go work at Starbucks, you're going to start a course, you're going to sell a course. What are you going to do? So when I get approached like, okay, how do you do CEs? It's because you guys already have an expertise. You have something that you want to put out there. So when it comes to like, okay, is this really about becoming a course creator, or is this about turning your real life expertise into income and impact? And if your ChatGPT bells are ringing, yes, ChatGPT totally helped me make this presentation. I love ChatGPT. I'm a fan. I'm also a professor at University of Texas, El Paso as an adjunct. So I do understand it can become a crutch, but for this, you will love it, and I'm going to show you why. So here's what I'm sharing with you. You're going to get a comparison chart. In fact, you already have it. In your Kate Walker training profile, you'll see two PDF charts. And right now it may just look like Greek, but I will go over how to use that chart, what it all means. The tools I use to grow my own CE platform. That's one of the things, the big dream I had for the CE was I was actually going to show you how I use the software because there's a lot missing and the technology moves so fast. please feel free to say, Kate, you're really doing it in a complicated way. I do it like this with this thing. I'm going to learn from you because the technology has just changed so much, even in the last year. And of course, I'm going to tell you that Step It Up members get the replay. So if you're a Step It Up member and you have to step away, no worries, you will get the replay. So, mindset reset. A course is not a marketing plan. So a lot of times when I get asked about courses, I get asked about how do I get my course to sell? Well, I have no idea any more than I know how to get your bar to make a profit. If you have a great product, if you have something that people want, I mean, that's economics from high school, right? Supply and demand. So I will show you how to market it, but just because you're building a course, I mean, it's like writing a book. If you guys have ever written a book before, sometimes it's like throwing a rock off the Grand Canyon. You don't know who's going to buy it, who even needs it. So a course is kind of just that. In fact, I talked to someone a couple of months ago. They're like, help me build a course. And what they really wanted was a marketing plan. So I spent an hour talking to them about how to build a course. And they're like, well, I have this. I need to know how to sell it. And it's like, oh, well, I don't know. So we will talk about that here, though, because that's why we're all here for 2 hours. Uh, Start with the buyer, not just a passion. Start with something that somebody already needs. I got on this kick of doing online courses after a good friend of mine talked about how she had developed a course on anger management, and she had gotten several judges in a few jurisdictions to adopt it as a mandated required thing for folks who were on probation for anger issues. And I thought, holy moly, so you can actually have a thing that people have to take. And I was already doing the 40-hour training live. I mean, it was so time intensive, 40 hours, 2 weekends, all the binders, all the paper. So the idea that there was a way to create a course that could just go on autopilot and people had to take it, well, that's what evolved into the 40-hour online training. So starting with a buyer means during this during this webinar tonight, we're going to do some work around ideal client. I know people are probably tired of hearing that, or ideal customer. Who is your ideal customer? And it's not something like, well, I want to develop a course for depressed people. No, what kind of depressed people? Where are they? Where do they shop? Do they have kids? Do they not have kids? Do they go to bars? Do they go to churches? Do they go to both? So trying to identify who these people are that you're going to sell this course to is important. I think I heard imposter syndrome in our chat. Um, yeah, if you have imposter syndrome, it's okay. We'll get over it together. I made my first DVD set that sold horribly, but it was a 3 CD or DVD series. Y'all remember DVDs? And I made it in my kitchen up against a green screen that I got on Amazon. And I called it My Favorite Mistakes. And then I can't even remember what the other ones were. And it was, I mean, I'm embarrassed. I still have them. And I can't play them, which is probably a blessing because I don't have a DVD player anymore. But they just were what they were. And I knew the expertise that I had because I was talking about myself. I was talking about the mistakes I had made in private practice, not what you ought to do in private practice. Just, hey, I forgot to pay my taxes. That was a super big mistake. Don't do that. So it did sell though. I took it to TCA conference, and people bought it. But the idea is good enough is good. You will get feedback. You're going to course correct based on the feedback. And then what you actually need to sell an online course. Your audience has to trust you. You have to have a clear offer. You have to have a simple platform and avoid the 6 months of tweaking. So as I look through the chat, I just want to make sure I'm covering that. So Akila, yes, we will cover. I don't know if it's the best software, but I'm going to talk about why I don't use certain software and why I do use the software that I have. Um, Kendra, what platforms to use? Yeah. How long to keep records of attendance? I can actually answer that real fast. The board took away all requirements for CE providers. So basically, well, all we have are best practices now. And so we keep records. And somebody checked me on that. They may have re-added that, but I think we keep them for forever because they're electronic. So we're always going to have your records. But I would say at least 3 years because, that's a renewal cycle plus one. And then all we need to keep for our records again, there's just nothing there. The board took all that away. So I will be happy to talk about best practices, what we do. For example, webinars, we still take attendance. Nobody says you have to even take attendance. We got an email last week. It's like, wait a minute, you're just giving me this blank certificate? It's like, yeah, I mean, that's what you get at a conference. It's the honor system. You fill it out, you sign it, and there you go. Um, how to market courses, Akila, yes, I'm going to talk about that. Cindy, how to get approval if possible for a category of CEs and not just one specific course. You asked another question, but that one. Okay, what do you mean by that, Cindy? How to get approval? You mean like MBCC? Look, I waited till you took a big old drink and then I asked you a question. Oh, and by the way, fair
Yeah.
warning, if you unmute, you will be on the video because I'm not going to edit you out. Okay.
It's okay.
See,
Yes, like NBCC. Yes,
I can't
you
hear
got it.
you. That's not good. Let's see. Okay, yes. Okay, got you. Um, Let me take a second and double check. You guys can hear me, but I can't. Oh, there we go, Kate. There, yeah, okay. Can somebody unmute and just, Cindy, can you unmute again and just say something?
Testing. Hi.
Thank you. Okay,
Hey,
got you.
Kate's fabulous.
I'll edit that out. Okay, so yes, Cindy. Oh, and if you're wondering about the 50% rule, that's a category. That's one of the things you might be wondering about if you are in the category of 50% providers, and we can talk about that. How you begin to find the resources for the topic you want to discuss. You want to offer CEs for working with first generation clients, but not sure where to find information to include. Oh boy, do I have a source for you, Cynthia. 100% have a source for you. It rhymes with ChatGPT. Trina, how can I get started earning and developing content? I think I have imposter syndrome, Trina. Don't we all? And then Olivia, yes, you need to go to Kimberly Parker's expert webinar tomorrow night or get the replay because she's going to talk about that. And she offers like a course, like a whole 2 to 3 hour course where she walks through. She's going to give us an overview. The whole schematic, Sharon wants to know. And then, all right, I think we're caught up. So our framework tonight is teach, train, get paid. So teach, we're going to start with what you know, but we're going to base it on demand. And we're going to use the questions that you answer often. And then you're going to align it with buyer insight. So what is the buyer getting from this course? What are they walking away with? The train, that's where we're going to get into what kind of course. Are you going to do like what I'm doing right now, a live webinar? Are you going to do something that's pre-recorded? Or are you going to set up a camera while you're delivering something face to face to a group of people? All of those things are really good. I think the hardest is probably doing the setting up the camera and the face to face. I've tried to do it at least 5 times and I've just ended up ditching it every single time. I just either didn't mic myself correctly or the camera angle was weird or I'd walk off camera. Cindy and I have done presentations at TCA and they give us like a little box, or not literally, but like, okay, you can only walk this far and you can only do this and don't walk forward. I mean, it's not easy to do the face-to-face just on your own. I would recommend hiring somebody to film you. And then of course the thing everybody wants to know, how to get paid, how to host and sell your course. So I will also talk about editing without getting lost. And so while I'm talking, if you want to open up some tabs on your computer, and so you've got these things open, Camtasia, it's also by a company called TechSmith. That's what I use, and that's what I'm going to show you. But I just gave Descript a try, and it wasn't for me, but people love it. I know people really who use it a lot. Loom. Um, that's another good software that you might love. It's great for doing screen recordings and things like that. So get on your computer while I'm talking, kind of look these things over, look at the pricing, uh, where they're priced. And so choosing a platform, and this, we're going to get to the chart right off the bat, y'all. Choosing a platform isn't one size fits all. So we're going to look at two charts with a lot of information. Cost, the number of users, and enrollment. So sometimes you're going to run across LMS, learning management software, that's designed for, let's say, IBM. They're going to offer trainings for their employees. And so they're going to have the ability to have 100 seats. And so you'll look at your learning management software that you're thinking about buying, and you'll think, well, why are they charging me extra money for over 100 seats? I want to sell more than 100 of these courses. Well, that's what the number of users. You need to be really aware and careful if your learning management software limits the number of users or the number of the cost or the cost of enrollment. It's like getting a license. Well, you have 500, but over 500, we're going to charge you $1 a person or something like that. You want to consider media, hosting, and ease of use for admin. That's you. So when you're going through these courses and somebody sends you an email that says, why haven't I got my certificate? I finished my course. Well, if you don't have any way to go in and look at their progress and see what they've done, let's say you have modules or there's a video that they're supposed to watch, that's not good, right? You have to be able to go in and see their progress. If you're just doing a video, like let's say you're going to do a video and a quiz, which is fine, you can do that. Just remember, there's probably not a way to go in and verify. So you sacrifice oversight, and with things that are just very, very simple, like YouTube and a quiz, that's truly honor system, right? Because somebody can cheat your quiz, grab their certificate and go, never watch. But I can also open up, I don't know if you guys remember the American Counseling Association magazine. You'd get it, it would have a free CE, and you're supposed to read the article and then take the quiz and then mail in your answers and your money. And they would say, it was like correspondence courses, right? So everything is the honor system. I think a lot of us get really hung up, like, I've got to stop the cheaters. Y'all, if people are going to cheat on your courses, they're going to cheat on your courses. It's just the way of the world. It's funny because in my 40-hour training course, we don't have Easter eggs, but we know if people haven't watched the orientation. We know if they have skipped the section that tells them how this works and which, the order they're supposed to do their assignments in. So having something that's very easy to use for you is important. So the first chart is, and again, you guys can pull this up. This is in your profile. I just looked at 10 because I know that gets people too. It's like, oh my gosh, $89 a month or $39 a month, that's a lot of money. Well, you can also do things like a video in Flubaroo. What's Flubaroo? Well, if you go to Google and you go to the little like where it says Gmail, Google Drive, the little with all the apps, Google apps, that's the word. Flubaroo is actually a free Google app that you can create quizzes with. It's the way I first did quizzes. And so very, very Just your first try at this. If you want to do just videos and Flubaroo, it's fine. That may be what you want. So the cost, and you'll see here, like with LearnPress, that's where it starts costing more for add-ins. So maybe you have a core that it works great, but then if you want to deliver certificates, it's going to cost you a little more. Well, you can do certificates, but if you want to modify the certificates, it's going to cost you a little bit more. And some of these I'm not real familiar with, but I wanted you to have a good option. I wanted you to be able to start your research somewhere. So additional fees, everything has gotten a lot less expensive than it used to be, but you see here hosting plus plugin cost. What that means is you have this WordPress site and your course, your LMS, Learning Management System software, is going to plug in directly to your site. All right, so wherever you see that it's hosting plus plugin, that means it's going to plug into your site. It may not be WordPress. I don't know, right? You just have to do that research. One of the reasons I hate this is because if for some reason that company has a problem, if they have a bad day, if they get hacked, it could take your whole website down. And that's happened to me before when I had LearnPress and I don't know, another one I had. It just got bigger and bigger and bigger. You could add on other things. Everything was an add-on, and it was like hanging weights off of my website, and it just kept getting slower and slower and slower. But on the plus, there are lots and lots of bells and whistles. So users allow how much per user, enrollment options. People can self-enroll. That is so important. If they cannot self-enroll, that means you have stumbled upon a learning management system that's made for IBM or a big company. That means that somebody has a whole bunch of people and they are going to be doing the enrolling. So the marketing department on the fifth floor is all going to take this course, so you're going to input them. So make sure people can self-enroll. Media uploads supported. Basic is going to be video, PDF, and embeds. Now, this has gotten so much better. It used to be like YouTube was pretty much it. Like you could do the shared link, not even the embed code, just the shared link on YouTube. Now even Podia allows other video formats to be uploaded. Now, I'm going to just make a note here. Video is not the same as written word. Texas makes no mention of how many hours the written word is. Okay. Video, super easy. 1 hour is 1 hour. And that's why we're doing this for 2 hours. And when you get the replay, it's going to be a 2 hour replay. You have to go beyond to things like NBCC to find out, okay, how many hours is the written word? Well, it's about 6,000 words equals 1 hour. And that's, again, Texas doesn't mention that at all. So when you see that there is a video capability, that is so important, because if you're just planning on uploading, your PDFs or even sending them to another website like National Institute of Mental Health and having them read a pamphlet on depression on their website, and then they come back to you and take the quiz, I couldn't tell you how many hours just written word is. All right, so you'd need to be very careful there. When you see words like SCORM or tin can, those are very, very robust types of learning management systems. That's like when you take that course through your university and it's got the little ninja guy jumping off the car and he's going to tell you how not to get phished on your email, and it's going to be like a movie. That's what that can do. I had a course once where you could animate these stock images. It was the coolest thing. Like if you got the answer wrong, Karen would raise her hand and go, no. it's wrong and click this button to find out why. I mean, I had so much fun building this thing, but it crashed my website one time. It, and it was really expensive. I was in a phase of my course developing that I was like, well, I need to put good money into this. I need to really develop something fancy. I did not need to develop something fancy, right? Go back to your high school economics, supply and demand. If you can produce a course that meets the criteria, Texas doesn't have much, but we're, the best practices, and you can deliver it in a way that is pleasing to your customers. That's what people seem to be looking for. But by all means, if you have your tabs open, look up things like SCORM, look up things like Tin Can. There are API keys and codes. It just requires a little bit more knowledge of that back office part of your website, okay? And then look at where, again, I'm going to talk about where it's hosted, Podia servers versus your WordPress site, right? Or your Squarespace site or self-hosted. So when you think about it's hosted someplace else, like Podia, let's say Podia is having a bad day. It's okay. That I just put up a little sign on on my website that says, "Hey, can't access courses today, but hopefully they'll be up and running." Well, they've got $1 billion and a whole management team. They're getting their stuff together. My website is fine, right? So I'm able to still do business. I'm still able to operate, even though my course may be going through issues. And the nice thing is, nobody knows that they're leaving my site and going to another one. And this is one of the things I wanted to show you. Let's see, let me stop the share for a second. And while I'm pulling things up, if you guys want to get a question in there, go for it. Okay, let's look. So for example, this is a landing page. It's got all of my courses, most of my courses on here. But we are going to click grab your free 1 hour CE. So you're not on my website anymore. You're on a website called Lead Pages. And then when I go down here, if I want to go see Kimberly Parker because I want to learn how to be an NBCC continuing provider, not on my website anymore. Now you're on Podia. So everything is branded to look like me, but it's on another website. So when they get the webinar, when y'all get the webinar, or if you're taking an online course and there's a quiz involved, nothing is going to look out of place. It's still going to look like the Kate Walker training brand. So ease of use, and this is a ChatGPT opinion, and ChatGPT is biased to me because I use Podia. So that's, and I guess my only, and people please chime in. If you use one of these products and you find that it's easy to use or you highly recommend, I mean, I'm giving you guys an affiliate link, but you guys go where it's easiest for you. Anybody have any experience using these? Okay. So cost, additional fees, users allowed, and this enrollment, make sure you know that for sure. Make sure it's got at least the basics, video, PDF, and then I prefer that it's not hosted on my website. And I like things that are easy to use. I I probably could put together 3 courses a day. That's how, I've got a routine. I can show you my flow if you'd like to see it. But trying to think about the old days when it took me forever just because I was having to navigate all of these systems. I really appreciate if something's easy. All right, I'm going to go to the next slide then. So the next part is Ease of use for the participant. So one of the things that's, I guess it's an ethical issue, but because the board removed the requirements for CE providers, which I guess how could they govern someone who's a CE provider if they're not licensed, right? But it's kind of the Wild West. There's just no way of telling how a course is going to do. Now, one of the things you've heard me say in the past is we've broken up with email. We've broken up with email. Well, that's because when you start delivering a course, you're going to have to be a customer service department. So, for example, one of the things in Podia required a verification. Every time we had someone purchase a course, they had to verify, they had to input a code, then they could log in. It was like, oh my gosh, this is not Fort Knox. It's just a course, right? And then we were getting so many emails because these verification codes would go to where? They would go to spam. So people had purchased these courses. Nobody knew me. They're like, what are you doing? You're taking my money, all of these things. So we got rid of the verification codes. So, and that's just one example. If you offer certificates, but you're going to be the one who emails the certificates, if you have an email that Google loves to suck up into its Hoover spam, those people won't ever get their certificates, and you're going to be doing so much back and forth. So for every 1 hour of course that you're producing, if it turns into 4 hours of maintenance, that's not worth your time. So ease of use for the participant is huge. Can you customize it? You know, I used to love customizing. Like I said, I loved playing with the animation. I'm not so much on the customizing anymore. Quizzes, I think, are vital. Does Texas say you have to have a quiz for your, and I'm not talking about a webinar. Texas no longer says you have to have a quiz for your online courses, but NBCC does. NBCC requires 5 questions, I believe, per hour, and they'll audit you. NBCC goes in at least once every year, every 2 years, and audits your stuff. So, and can you take payment? One of the ways I used to give courses back in the day was, okay, I'm just going to give you a link. You're going to go to the National Institute of Mental Health website. You're going to read a pamphlet. You're going to come back to my website. You're going to click a link. You're going to go to Flubaroo. You're going to take a quiz, and all this is free for me, free, free, free. And then when you pass your quiz and you're ready for that certificate, that's when I'm going to sell it to you. And I can't even remember what I used. It might have been WooCommerce. I don't remember. Aquila, 5 questions per hour. I think it might be 5 questions per 30 minutes. But I mean, so yeah, I was selling a certificate, but at the same time, I was gatekeeping the certificate. My participants, they could do what they wanted to, but what I insisted on, what I've always insisted on with my online courses was, could I verify that you watch the material? Not all the time. Could I verify that you passed the quiz? Yes. And I still have records from past quizzes from years and years ago because it terrified me that somebody would say, oh, you know what? You're just a certificate mill. You're just selling certificates. It's like, nope. Look, this person, they purchased this, they took this quiz, they passed, and then I sold them the certificate. So, I mean, if you wanted to do that, but you've got to be able to take payment in an easy way. Because there's no protected health information, there's no rule about PHI here. There's no rule about Venmo. There's no rule about any of this. So the type of payment that you use, type of system you use to take payment opens wide open for taking payment from customers for your courses. How does the platform report results? With our platform, with Podia, we have to go in and look. So, for example, for the 40-hour training, we have outside assignments, a combination of Podia quizzes and outside assignments. So, when they finish the very last outside assignment, they get an email that says, okay, looks good, but we've got to go in and verify that you have completed all of your modules. And so we go in there and we see a green check mark, and we can look to see that they have hit the complete button or passed the quiz for that module. Now, Podia is a no-fail quiz. So everybody has to go in and take the quiz and check the box. Do I love that? I don't love that, but that's the way our jurisprudence exam is as well. So if you have people that want to just zoom through and, I don't know, don't read the material and take the quiz, I'm never going to be able to stop that. Communicate with the participant. Your participant, if they don't get an email that says, hey, you just bought a course, or hey, you want to access your course now? Or hey, you just completed your course, or hey, here's your certificate. That's going to be a very worried participant. That's going to be a very worried course purchaser. So one of the things that is absolutely vital for me, and I didn't used to do this, was it has to be able to give them a certificate when they complete their quiz. Like that is a deal breaker for me now. I'm never, ever going to give a course where I have to keep a list on a spreadsheet, which is what Flubaroo did. It would send me this spreadsheet and I could see who'd passed. And then I had to get my certificate and see who'd paid. And then I had to get my email and I had to send the people who paid their certificate. And then support for you. We have an issue right now. Jennifer texted me. She's like, well, for some reason, developmental models and theories, the certificate's not downloading. I'm like, why? Because it's Wednesday, I guess, right? So today's the day. Certificates are not going to download, even though they've been downloading for 2 years. Well, she said, I'm just going to submit a support ticket. And with our plan, we get a quick turnaround, or we use chat, the AI chat for Podia, and they get back to us and fix the problem really quickly. And it's nice to be able to tell your customer, hey, I know you're having an issue. I hear you that this isn't working. Hang tight. I have just submitted a support ticket, and you know that there's an actual person, or at least something is going to happen on that end. You'll get an answer. And honestly, I don't buy any software anymore unless they have a level of support that's better than Facebook, right? Just I need an answer, not just the AI. Hey, have you tried unplugging it and plugging it back in? So our next chart, again, I tried to keep these in order. The ease of use for the user. And again, I think ChatGPT was biased because I told him I use Podia. But I do agree, like LearnPress, Podia is so much easier, but I can't really customize anything. I mean, the only thing I can really customize in Podia is the email. And of course the modules and the quiz, but like I have to pre-make a certificate. It autofills a real kind of wonky looking certificate that I can't do anything to. I mean, it's just, so we have to have a workaround, and I'll show you how I do that. User assessment mechanism. So yes, we want all of that, and we want these payment options here. I don't have a preference on payment options: Shopify, WooCommerce, Stripe, PayPal, whatever you find is easier, as long as they play nicely. And that's what the word of the day is: integration. You want to make sure that whatever you're using integrates. So for example, with LearnPress, WooCommerce was the only thing you could use. I could not use Stripe or PayPal, so it's changed. Tracking and reporting, and Podia is basic. It is basic, basic. Like the green check marks, that's pretty basic. If you needed something like advanced analytics, there was one LMS software I looked at that it it literally could like give you charts about how many of your course takers only got through the first module and they did like that, where people were stopping, where they were giving up, or where, the question, which quiz questions were not good. So if you want that data, or you think you want that data, you can definitely pay more money and get advanced analysis of your quizzes. But again, that's to me, in my mind, that's geared for like IBM, right? I've got to know that 98% of the workforce passed this, this course, and I need to know which module they're struggling on so we can make sure that we can give them more. My husband teaches courses in the Army, for the Army, and I know that's the kind of data, like what are they not passing? We've got to go back and teach that again in a different way. Communication tools, Podia has built-in email automation, but they now charge you. They didn't used to charge you. Now you get to a certain number of people and they're like, oh, well, and I don't even use Podia email. And then they're like, well, yes, you are, because whenever anybody buys a thing, they get an email with a link. And I'm like, ah, you got me. Because that's the convenience I want, right? I want that automatic email because I mean, I don't know how many of you ever purchased something online around, oh, I don't know, Christmas time, and you never got an email and you never got a thing, right? So they're getting phished all the time. So it's really important for me that people have that quick communication, and I'm able to go in and adjust some things. So most everybody does that. If it says plugin, remember, if it says plugin, what that means is it doesn't come with the basic course. That means you're going to have to go into the plugin department in WordPress or whichever thing you use, buy the plugin or download the plugin, which might mean another license. It might mean more updates, yada, yada, yada. And then admin support. I think almost everybody has good support now at a certain level. And I think we're all learning that the free plans for most things, the support sucks. Like we're not going to get good support if the plan is free. So you're going to have to pay something in order to get some good support, but I cannot emphasize enough. This is something, and I started doing this online courses, I think back in 2015 with my mentor, Dr. Judy Detrude, she recently passed away, but she taught me everything, and she was the ethics queen. I mean, she was the most ship-shape person on the planet. And when we did this, uh, like the best practices, I'm telling you, when we were trying to just do it free, right? We were just simply trying to use other people's material, which you're allowed to do, offer a quiz, and sell a certificate. So I'm going to pause for a second and get a sip of water. Ask me questions about that. Maybe you didn't know that. Maybe you didn't know that you can use other people's material for your CE courses. So if you're not too shy to unmute, that would be great. Otherwise, put it into the chat.
I have a question about Podia. Good afternoon, everyone.
Hey, Crystal.
So for the user experience, do you have an opportunity to format how things show up for the user, or is it just kind of like dump and go when it
It's
comes
dump and
to
go. I
Okay.
mean, and I'm going to walk you through it so you can kind of decide for yourself, and I'll be interested to know what you think when you actually see the back office. But it is very little customization of anything. And that's why all the editing is so important. Like if you have things, I know one of the things we put into our videos, we wanted people to kind of pause and reflect. Well, we had to make a video that did that, right? There wasn't a way to put that in the course so that people would pause and reflect, right? So if you have these creative ideas for your courses, again, I'm talking about the online course, you're going to have to get some editing software that you're comfortable with. And people ask me, okay, how long is it per hour? For hour of live video, how much editing is it? Y'all, I don't know. I want to say like three or 4 hours of editing for every 1 hour. I mean, it can get painful, especially when you're really trying to do something for like, let's say NBCC approved, because you want that stuff to be good and you know people are going to be watching that and auditing you. Anything you want me to go back to in the charts? Okay. So I'm going to show you a demo, and yes, I pre-recorded it because I was just nervous I was going to show you like the wrong stuff and it was going to take forever. So we're going to do 3 demos. First is going to be edit the video, then create the class, and then sell it. And so the video for editing is going to be starting with the rough video and the transcript. And for the rough video, I love Zoom. Zoom is great. The video quality sometimes isn't the greatest, but I mean, it's just the old standard. I've done Riverside a couple of times, and this last time I did it, I had to re-record it because the person I was recording with, their internet got a little wonky, and it didn't work. It fell apart, so we had to re-record it. Editing the video and Descript is the latest greatest thing. I didn't like it because I'm so used to Camtasia, so I'm going to show you Camtasia. And then I download to an external drive. You have to download before you can upload. And so having an external drive just means a little portable guy that I'm going to pick this up and see if you can see it. It's just one of these guys, right? Just a little external drive. Because if you're using the cloud, like if you're storing things in Google Drive and Dropbox and things like that, it sometimes does not play nicely. So let's start with, I'm going to stop the share and then I'm going to pull up the video. Okay. And when I show you my flow, um, I'll do a shameless promotion. I'm going to be doing a webinar about how to use a virtual assistant. And so a lot of these videos I'm putting together, I actually use as an SOP, a standard operating procedure for my virtual assistant. All right, so can everybody see this is my YouTube channel back office? And there will be a little bit of sound. Let me make sure I hit sound. Yep, I did. All right, so this is what I paused the recording. This is the back office of Camtasia. So this is just where you can see, okay, what am I doing? How am I affecting this video? So what I've been able to do in Camtasia is create something called a template. A template means you don't have to reinvent the wheel every time, but you don't have to do that. You can just have a raw video and boom, there it is. People watch it. You can use annotations, which means a big box with words in the middle. And you can say just, or you can do something really fancy. And again, they all do this. Descript does this, I think Riverside does this. And these are more templates that I've made. So if I wanted something more fancy than the box, hey, thanks for watching. Now it's super fancy, but I didn't make that. Camtasia made that. I can make the screen smaller. I can adjust things here so it's not so cramped. So the video that I'm going to work on is my the intensive that I did in June, the book Solid. And I'm going to just drag it over here. And that's what you would do in most of these software platforms. And then it takes a little bit of time, but I tried to cut that out. So you'll see when I add it, it goes right at the end. And there's a bunch of dead air. I'm staring at the screen. Nothing's happening. And then there I am.
Hey there, everyone. So glad to see you on.
So I've got to edit that out. So you can see that the wave, I can go in there and click that. Descript, what it does is it actually lets you edit it like a Word document. So if this is all like you're going, Kate, this is crazy, this is too much. Descript actually shows you the words.
Hey there, everyone. So glad to see you on a third. So we're going to learn how to market like real marketers. I am going to be serving as, oh gosh, am I muted? Oh, I am unmuted. Okay, good. I'm going to be.
Now you see why this takes 3 hours. Because stuff like this happens all the time. You've got to be able to, and Descript has an AI function. I know I'm acting like I'm selling Descript. I didn't like it. Y'all may love it, but Descript has an AI function where you can go in and it
I'm going to be
finds this.
my assistant tonight because Jennifer wasn't feeling well. So I'm going to grab chats.
All right. So at that point, just keep an eye. I'm circling right here. You can't see very much, but it says 1 minute and 54 seconds. So when I uploaded this video with the intro, with the outro, it says 1 minute, 1 hour and 54 minutes. Now that's close. Like I would say for a 2-hour CE, that's pretty doggone close. But you have to be precise. Whatever software you use, if you're doing an hour, make it an hour. If you're doing 1.5, just make sure there's a way that you can gauge and make sure that it's the right amount of time. And then we go to the end. We add our fancy intro. And I went in and I edited that out as well. People don't know that their face sometimes shows up. And now we save as, easy peasy. But no software, no learning management software on the planet is going to accept this project until I turn it into an MP4. I have to turn it into an MP4, so I have to export it. So your editing software is going to have a way for you to make it into an MOV file or an MP4 file. And I'm showing you the clock here in the middle. This ended up taking 28 minutes. And then it's in the form where YouTube, I use YouTube. So YouTube likes MP4s. I upload the video. I drag and drop it. Now, word of warning, when you first start doing this, if you're going to use YouTube, YouTube doesn't like anything over 9 minutes. Somehow I got the blessing to be able to upload things beyond 9 minutes. I have tons of playlists. I keep things very organized. So this will be unlisted because it's just for the Step It Up folks and it's a CE. So I copy the link. And now I'm ready to create my course. All right. Questions. That was the super fast editing. I just wanted you guys to have a little taste of it. But I've been told that people have Descript on their phones and they're able to like edit on their phone. But when you're talking hour and a half, two, 3 hour videos, being able to be comfortable, you're gonna have a little bit of a learning curve. Ask me questions about this. Anybody have experience editing?
I'll go again.
Yeah, Crystal, go.
I'm gonna monopolize. No, I'm kidding.
No, you're not.
So I'm gonna be vocal because that's how I am. Okay, so I've used WeVideo before, and it did take. It's similar to what I see in Camtasia. My mind is leaning towards modules, so I'm wondering, are you able to splice up pretty easily? You know, the video. If you recorded a full 3 hours, can you splice it, or do you just recommend recording the time frame and doing it that way?
I'm gonna speak advanced LMS to you for a second, Crystal. One of the things in Camtasia that you're able to do is let's see, something called markers.
I've heard of that.
Okay, yep. So if you've got Camtasia up and you click, you'll see this little blue X, and there it is. That's a marker. And I could go in there and I could name that marker overview of Trello.
Okay.
Okay. Now, when I go into export, I'm going to export as this, but I'm also going to be now doing a different type of, I'm going to do the smart player. So this will be, when it's done chopping it up and digesting it, you'll be able to put it into like Screencastify, where that will do, they're not called modules, they're called chapters. And that's super handy if you're doing a long course, because people, when they're taking the quiz, they're like, I don't remember what it said about CBT and blah, blah, blah. But if they have a chapter marking where they can go back and say, oh, I can just jump right here and there it is. Super, super helpful. It's not hard to do. And so if you are at that phase of your development and you want to do longer courses with chapter markings, just getting a little fancy, but that's okay. You don't have to do markers. But this plays nicely with, I believe it's Screencast. And so what I do for my 40-hour training is I have the YouTube video, and then I have something in the description that says, hey, if you'd like to see this with chapter markings, click here, and then it takes them to that video where the chapter markings are.
Nice. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, Lisa's asking, I've used Adobe Premiere for video editing. Whoa, go you. I have never figured that out, but it is a standalone software and isn't integrated with LMS. It doesn't have to be. It does not have to be integrated with LMS or YouTube. In fact, I've found in the past when I go up here, and I'm still sharing good, and I say export to YouTube, and it gives me like, okay, we're going to log into your account. It messes up every time. Like it doesn't work. I would much prefer just a plain old export. Give me an MP4 file, upload it to my favorite thing. I love YouTube. And then so what's important to me, if we went back to that chart, is that your hosting platform is gonna support YouTube. And remember, the platform, it's like a Walmart shelf, right? Your video is like a pair of shoes. So you need a platform that's going to have a shelf that you can put your shoes on, right? If it's like, nope, we don't have shelves here, all we have are things that hang from the ceiling, right? Okay, well, that's not going to do me any good, because I insist on MP4s. Like, I don't ever want to mess with complicated software again. So Lisa, I talked too much. Did that answer your question?
Yes, it did. Thank you.
Awesome. All right, so we've started the rough video, And that could be anything you've done. That could be that camera that you set up when you were giving that talk. It could be a Zoom that you gave. I remember last year I wanted my colleague Amanda Escabel to do her training on 5 activities for group supervision. It was wonderful. I saw her do it at TASES. I asked if she would do it for me. And that's a good way to get paid too, y'all. If you have things, like I paid to license things from people. So she agreed to do the presentation. I recorded it. So I had her rough video. Then I could do all the things we're doing today. So we download to an external hard drive and then we upload it to YouTube. All right, so are we good with this slide? Everybody know? Okay, and you're going to get this replay if you're in Step It Up, so you get to hit pause and go back and forth. Okay. The next thing, we are going to create the class. So I did not include copy and pasting or uploading the transcript script into ChatGPT, but almost every single webinar software this year, and I know it's this year because I used to hire a transcriptionist and I don't hire one anymore. Almost every single video software, and even the free versions, give you a transcript. So when you get that transcript, download it and then upload it into ChatGPT. So I know I'm getting ahead of myself just a little bit, but I'll show you when we're putting, and this is the flow. So if I'm doing an online course, these are processing. So when my virtual assistant goes in, he'll see the video, but he'll also see the PDF. So he can take that PDF and he can upload it into ChatGPT and say, okay, I'm going to need some things from you in a second. Actually, then I want you guys to put a pin in it because we're going to need some things from chat, but not yet. So you've got your video, you've got your transcript. I'm going to, let's show you. Nope, we already did that. Okay, yep, this is the one. So the one we're going to look at is the Lynn McLean Presents Play Therapy. And what I did just there is I just copy pasted the title. I just grabbed the title. I use Trello, whatever organizing system. If you have just a Google Sheets, that's fine. You just want to have a title. So the title of your course, you copy paste it. And this is Podia. This is the back office of Podia. So you see I've got a ton of courses and I'm going to create a new one. Now this is going to be an online course, but I will show you how to make a webinar in a second as well. So I go to new product and this is the course and I just copy and pasted the title. So when we do webinar, you'll see that there's an option for webinar. Super simple. Like this is basic. You'll have other software, other learning management systems that give you way more options than this, but this is okay for me. So we're going to create the product. And this is the back of your course. So this is a raw course, has not been created yet. And now we're going to add our video as a lesson, and we're going to create a quiz. So because we're doing a video, I don't know if you saw that, but I chose embed. It's not really an embed for those of you who know the stuff. It's just a link. So I'm going to put my title here. And then I'm going to go to YouTube or my Trello card, copy the link, because I've already edited it in Camtasia. And I'll put my video link here. Now, this is the flow that I have for my virtual assistant, and there's a card called lesson content. And what I put for lesson content is adapt, just things that make it a little bit more accessible. So it's the same for every single course that I have. And it's just click the link to watch the replay because everybody needs an instruction. You'll need this information to take and pass the quiz. Would you like to see the content with closed captions? Please use the link to view in YouTube. YouTube automatically generates captions, and Kate Walker Training is not responsible for misspellings. So I'm going to select that and copy it. So as you start getting your own flow, I highly recommend things that you do over and over and over again. Put in a Google Sheet, put on a Trello board, put in a card. That's what they're called in Trello. They're called Trello cards. So here I go. I'm going to copy paste. And there are a couple other settings. And I click save. So that's just part of it. So I just created the lesson, but I still need to do more for the marketing, and I also need to create the quiz. So details, if you have Canva, or you have your beautiful headshot, you're going to upload that. Yeah, this is for my VA, so I wanted him to make sure he saw that before he left the page. And this is the first place you're going to use ChatGPT. So if you had already uploaded your description into ChatGPT, so let's say I wanted to add from Lynn McLean, where are you? There's the transcript for her webinar. I could give it a prompt. Give me I believe it's 240 characters is all I'm allowed to do. And this is for marketing because we have to make sure that we stay in the parameters. I'll just say Podia friendly. For this content. See, that's too long. So then you could just copy paste that and continue on your way. I have a card for it, but I just wanted to clarify. So I'm actually going to get ahead there. So this is where you would copy and paste that. So it would go from ChatGPT to there. Now you can categorize, but again, remember I told you Podia is not fancy. This is about all you can do is categorize. And then certificate. So Podia says, yes, you can provide certificates. So that was, again, that was the deal for me. If it provided a certificate, count me in. So provides a certificate and edit. And look at that. It's going to automatically send an email notification to customers who complete the course. Yay. That is so important. And when you add a quiz to these courses, it's going to trigger that certificate. So I don't like that email. So in Trello, I've got better language. I would really love it if Podia just let me edit it one time and just kept the template, but it does not. So I have to go in every time. I don't say cheers. So this is also explaining the workaround that we have to do because Podia, our online courses are NBCC certified. And NBCC is very, very picky about what their certificates say. So we had to be sure, and I just don't like Padilla certificates anyway. We had to be very clear. This is a blank certificate, so please complete the title, the number of hours, and the topics covered. And we want to make sure that people know to click the link and download the certificate because they get really confused if it's just the certificate that comes with the course. And so we have our certificate that we upload. We just happen to have it as an image instead of a PDF. And we keep this. You can have it in a folder that never has to change because Podia will autofill the name of the course. And then you can save it. And this is where I really love Podia. So I fall in love with Podia because it does automatic emails and certificates and quizzes. But the fact that you can actually just the whole sale happens right here. You can make it a single payment. You can do payment plans if you want. You can use coupons. You can do discounts. You can upsell things. If you have another course you want to upsell, you can add that there. And then my VA, I tell him to put it to closed and hidden until I've had a chance to go in and verify. But once you hit publish, then it's good to go. And I will show you the back office. Actually, let me see. Stop the share. Any questions while I'm pulling up this? And it's okay to say, I'm feeling really overwhelmed. This is a lot of information. How did I find a good VA? Well, it took many, many tries. And then I advertised for Jennifer in the Badass group. It was in the lemonade stand on Wednesday. I just said I was looking for a VA. And Jennifer was getting her master's in counseling, and it was perfect. She was looking for about 5 to 10 hours a week. My second VA, who I love, actually got it on a service called Upwork. And so he's in the Philippines, and he started off in, I gave him very, very specific directions. I taught him how to use Trello. I taught him how to use SOPs, and it's been wonderful. So let me look at Lynn's. So here's the course in real time, not a video. And so you can see the people who've signed up here. You can see this is about as much progress as I get. I get a check, or I can see if people have done 0 out of 2. And then to share it, I just click this and it gives me a link. So when I click the link, it's automatically copied. I can put it anywhere. I can put it, if I have lead pages and I want to put it into my courses. So here's my course website or my menu. Let's say I wanted to build it here. I put it into the click event and I just add the button. Okay, then I can share the course. Or I don't have to do any of that fancy stuff. I can just go to my website and let's say I have it. Now you have to have access to your back office. That's non-negotiable. But if you were just going to do easy peasy and you had something like ready to take the next step, take the course here. You could go into your back office and just highlight this and make it a hot link, and it could go right to your course. right? I mean, I'm showing you complicated ways and I'm showing you easy ways. Doing a hot link on text that's already on your website, you don't need integrations, you don't need anything to play nice. You just have to have the ability for your website to let you link your course. Okay? All right, so any questions about how to build the course? I'm showing you the nitty-gritty behind the scenes in Podia, but it's pretty similar for other things as well. You're going to, oh, I didn't show you how to make the quiz. Hold on. So let's do that. Let's go to the SOP for the quiz. We don't need sound for this. Unless you just want to hear that's one thing that's fun about Camtasia. It's got some fun sounds. Fun music and all of it. One of the things you want to look to, you can't just put anybody's music with your courses. You have to have things that are open and no royalties. So whatever you buy has to, hopefully come with stock images, stock music, things like that. Okay, so it looks the same. All we did, I know I just blasted through that. You clicked add quiz instead of add embed. Remember, we added embed when we were doing a video. Now you're adding the quiz. So the same type of thing, you're going to fill in the information, but this is where it gets fun. Because you're going to go to ChatGPT to that same content you just put in, and you're going to ask Chat to create a quiz for you. And you can tell him, her, it, what kind. I just sped it up so the music's in my ears going super fast. So let me make a note here. This is not necessarily from the interweb. In fact, it's not from the internet. This is from Lynn's presentation. So if she said, which of the following should not automatically be shared with caregivers, if doing so could endanger the child, this is from her presentation. This is not a rule or a best practice or something we're going to Google somewhere. So I want you, I mean, if you have something on here that it pops up and you're like, ooh, I didn't hear her say that, that's wrong. Don't use that question. Use a different question. Make sure it's something that you can go back and check. But it will allow you, it'll create multiple choice, it'll create true or false. And then when you go back into Podia, so it's pretty straightforward. So whatever software you use and you're creating your quiz, whether it's Flubaroo or Podia, just make sure it's very easy to make the quiz. And of course, at the end, I'm not going to let you don't have to watch. My VA had to watch this whole thing. I'm not going to make you watch the whole thing. So at the end, you have 5 questions or 10 questions, however much you want. Make sure that customers can view it. And that's it. All right, so we've done the demo for creating the class. For the webinar, like what we're doing tonight, let me stop the share. This is where it's very, I love Podia so, so much. Because I can, let's see. I'm going to do a new product. And because Podia plays nicely with Zoom, I'm going to sell a webinar. Let's just call it Fantastic Webinar. And remember, this is something that you're going to give. You've got a Zoom meeting, you've got people signed up, and I'll show you how to do that. Or you want them to sign up, but you went ahead, you got to go ahead and make the Zoom meeting. So you create it. Oh my goodness. I've done that all really fantastic. Now, when you're going to create your details, oh goodness, what did I do? Hold on. You want to ask me questions while I'm fishing around for stuff? There we go. So when we create a webinar, it's the same thing. Now, remember, this hasn't happened yet. So we're getting to the marketing portion of this. You've got something that's coming up, you want to sell it. Well, Podia is like, you can't sell it unless I know that you've got it in Zoom already. So you already took the time, you went into Zoom, you created a meeting. Now, it already knows it plays nicely with YouTube, it plays nicely with Zoom. When you click Zoom meeting, it gives you a drop-down menu, and there are all of the meetings that you have set up. So you know it's going to, let's say we're going to do Kenda Dalrymple. You go into your Trello card. This is where I like to put the certificate. This is where, and you guys know this because you have your profile that you have for this webinar. You know, this is where I put your certificate. If the presenter that my guest speaker has any resources, I will put them here. I'll put PowerPoint, certificate, evaluation link here. Any sort of resources that I've promised for coming to the course, go right here. Look at that, automatic emails. That's my love language. I don't like the email when the event ends because it caused a lot of confusion. We had a lot of support emails about, why am I getting this email? I'm like, I have no idea. Details are exactly the same. You're going to fill in your description. Now, the only thing is with this, ChatGPT can't help you based on a transcript because it hasn't happened yet. But ChatGPT is, if it gets to know you and you say, hey, I'm going to do a webinar on grief over the holidays when you're visiting family, give me a 420 character Podia description and give me 3 and I will pick one. And then I don't like any interaction. I don't want my customers talking to each other. And a lot of times these learning management systems, it'll let you connect to Discord, it will let you connect to Slack. And I'm like, no, I don't, because the more conversation that's going on over here, the more support I'm going to have to do, or it's conversation I'm going to miss, or my VAs are going to miss. So I make sure nobody can activate this. The only community I have is in the Step It Up membership. Now, integration down here, you may say, well, Kate, they're already emailing people. Why do you need another one? Well, because I want to sell the doggone thing. And I don't just want to sell this, I want to sell more stuff. So I can go in here to ConvertKit, and let's say this is a free webinar. It's not, but let's just say it is. Free webinar. Well, it plays nicely with ConvertKit, which is my marketing email. And now when people finish signing up for this, right, I can go in and just like before, do the pricing, do the availability, publish. When they go to my website and purchase this, They are going to be dumped into an automation. And this is bringing me to the next PowerPoint slide about marketing. So I want to pause and answer questions. You guys good? Because I'm taking, this is the last time you're going to see the back office of Podia. You good? Well, until you replay it. Akila, when I was first taught how to do this, I had a spiral notebook and I literally sat down with markers, not the color kind. I'm talking about like, okay, at 13 minutes, they talk about this. At 14 minutes, they talk about that, right? Because there were so many pieces and parts, and I had no idea what went into selling courses. And as I'm getting the next part up, let me just share. The reason I go into this much depth is because I cannot tell you how many people come up to me at conferences like TCA or the DFW symposium, and they're like, well, I tried doing it and nothing sold, so I quit. It's like, okay, wait a second. There are a lot of moving parts here. I wish it was just make a video on your phone, pop it onto YouTube, but it's just not like that anymore. And I'm going to show you why. Jennifer and I did a podcast episode, or we recorded one yesterday. And Jennifer said, Facebook is not the product or something like that. Social media is not the product. We are the product. So people are fighting for our attention. So if you're going to be selling this thing, you're going to have to create compelling sales pages. You're going to have to announce to your email list or offer it as a bonus or a freebie to test it. And then if you get feedback, which means nobody's buying it, right? That's pretty much nobody's going to, I mean, most people are nice. They're not going to be like, hey, this course sucks. They might, but generally it's going to be like, oh, this course isn't selling. Then you have to pivot. Okay. So when you create a compelling sales page, sometimes it's called a landing page. This is the landing page for my supervisor training. If you're not a supervisor, this is a shameless plug. So when you go to the landing page, you see a lot of information. And generally, the more expensive something is, the more detail you're going to need on your landing page because people are going to come back and forth. They're going to go look at other things. They're going to compare. And so when you have the picture, you have the bold heading, and then you have pain points. Now, if you went to my booked solid intensive in June, or if you're Step It Up member, that replay is up next, I promise. I talk more about this, but pain points. Are you overwhelmed? Are you worried? Are you hesitant? This course is not about me. Your course is not about you. Your course is about the person who's struggling to, and with me, it's sit through a boring course, or they take a course, but all the information's 10 years old, or they're sitting in a course and they just paid $1,200 and, the course was maybe 3 hours long. I don't know. So those are the pain points. How do I know those pain points? I ask around. I've also given crappy live 40-hour trainings. Those were the days. Testimonials. You want testimonials. And I know it's hard if you've never given a course before. Well, nobody has a testimonial. Well, it's just like we talk about in Texas Counselors Creating Badass Businesses. Ask a colleague to talk about how amazing you are when they saw you present, or when they sat in one of the classes that you taught, or they worked with you and you were so punctual. And when you explained things to the new hires, you made it so easy for them to understand. Or when people had questions, they always came to you. All of that's what people want to see if it's something, especially if it's very expensive and they're going through the testimonials. This is what they'll get. More testimonials, what you get, more testimonials, what you get, and then the price, right? I know a lot of you put the price, well, heck, you put prices on your counseling services. Don't do that. Right? If you offer the best product, but people are going to not even get to know you because of the price, that's just, okay, they're going to walk away, even though you might have the best thing for what they need. Put the price later, and I offer payment plans. You can also, if you offer something very expensive, there are some things like Klarna and Affirm that offer payment plans where you're not carrying the load, someone else is. And then Podia includes payment plans. So that you don't even need any of that. Podia allows you to have as many payment plans as you want, and you can increase the price. I include the price of processing the credit card 3 times into the payment plan. And then if you want to add other courses, like let's say you get a whole bunch of courses, but 4 of them didn't sell. So you're trying to sell this 5th one, and you're like, hey, when you buy this course, you get all these other courses thrown in. Podia allows you to do that. So we call that bundling. So that's another thing I did not put on your chart, but I think it's really important because your LMS system, it's more than just a shelf for the shoes that you're selling, right? It's got to be flexible enough so that if you want to sell shoes and a purse and a necklace, you got to be able to put all that stuff together. And then if you want to discount it when they buy all 3 and show them they're saving money when they bundle, you've got to be able to show them. And on and on. So you see, this is a very long landing page. You do not have to do it this long. This is for something, like I said, that is fairly expensive. We have, and then there are the pop-up, everybody's favorite thing, but it gets your emails. It gets emails for us. So if I went back to here, see if I have a shorter landing page I can show you. Nope, I think I took it off. So yes, and ChatGPT can help you with that. So if your website is Squarespace or one of the other kind of, I don't know, they're like WordPress I love, but WordPress is so hard to create a pretty landing page. And so when somebody told me about lead pages, I just love it. So it lets me create all of these cool landing pages, and I can change it. Like if something's not working, I can go in and change it quickly. And all I have to do is have the link. It gives me publishing options, right? So there's the link. So again, I don't have to be so tech savvy. I could go in, and if I had, you ready to take your next step? Get ready to pursue a career you'll love. Hot link. That's going to go to my landing page. And nobody knows they've left my site. So if you're using a website and you're like, Kate, I can't even get into the back office, or it's so hard to get in there and do things, Lead Pages is a wonderful place to build landing pages. And why are we building landing pages? Because we have to sell this monster, right? This is your baby. This is what you're trying to sell. You're building it, you're editing it, blood, sweat, and tears. So creating a compelling sales page, and if you don't know how to do that, ChatGPT can help. If you're in the Step It Up group, I would love it if you come to coaching. I would love to look at your landing page, and I could give you pointers. The next thing, announce to your email list. So if you already had a bunch of people that loved listening to your music on YouTube, and then one day you decided you want to give a concert, right? Wouldn't it be easier to fill those seats, to get the butts in seats, if you could just go to the people who already love your music and say, hey, guess what? You love my music? I'm giving a concert. So that community building is what email can do for you. And social media isn't the same. In fact, my colleague in Dallas, her Facebook just went away. She came back from Italy. She tried to get on, and it's gone. Her Facebook, everything. So for me, Texas Counselors Creating Badass Businesses has over 4,000 people. But if Facebook decided they wanted to take away tomorrow, they could. And so, and I talked about this in the Booked Solid webinar, creating an opt-in gets me your email. That email then goes into an automation. That automation, just a bunch of stuff happening that I don't have to touch, where you're getting told about other things that I sell. So let's say you're the music fan, right? You like my music on YouTube, you click to watch a video, you have to give me your email. Well, you just got an email that told you when my next concert is. Then you get another email that says how you can listen on another channel, or then you get another one that you could, I'm in a private lesson and I'm going to teach you how to do the thing that I played. So it's not like you're spamming people. They already are interested in what you have. And the laws now, the national, federal, international law, if somebody wants to unsubscribe, they can. Like marketing software, marketing email software makes it so easy for people to unsubscribe. So you announce to your list rather than just like an Instagram post, hey, guess what? I have a course now. Nobody's going to see that. Nobody's going to interact with that. Then you watch for feedback, and all that means is are people buying it, and be ready to pivot. How much time? Okay, we've got some time. Questions about this before I go on to what we do if it doesn't sell? Okay. What do we do if it doesn't sell? That thing is a giant pumpkin. I highly recommend you all read Mike Maklowitz's, however you say his name, The Big Pumpkin. No, The Pumpkin Plan. If something doesn't work and you're still putting time and energy, and let's face it, when it comes to email and these platforms, you pay for the more things that you have, that's a waste. So if you look at something after a year and it's not selling or it's not pulling its weight, you can still use your course in some really great ways. Crystal's asking, did I come up with the copy for my landing page myself? I had help. I had help. Jenny Melrose, who was our speaker last week, she's my business coach. She helped me a lot. So this is kind of the story of my life. And when people come up to me at conferences and they're like, oh my gosh, everything you do is so good. First of all, my head goes, woo. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, they have no idea the folder I have full of things. Well, you guys kind of saw it, right? I mean, I clicked on that one folder, all of those webinars in there. I mean, they're free. And I have a dashboard that my VA helps me with that lets me know which courses are selling and which ones aren't. I have courses that I have spent hours and hours on that barely make me $500 a year. Okay, that is not worth my time and money. There is no lead page, landing page for them. There is no email opt-in for them. There is no effort giving to those at all. So what do I use them for? I use them for marketing, and I'll show you how, but I made a checklist, so I'm going to follow my own slide. Sorry, I got ahead of myself. So if it's not selling, you've got to ask yourself these things. And yes, there is a checklist in your profile that has this flow. It has everything that I've talked about. Ask yourself if this is something that is in demand, right? If you're selling, a course on how to meditate while you're mowing your lawn or something like that, and people are just, they don't want it, right? No, then there's nothing we can do about that. I mean, there probably are some creative ways to sell it, but I don't know. So demand is really important, and just Google it. If other people are selling it, see if someone's out there doing it better or cheaper. I often, if you've ever heard me speak, I talk about how churches do grief counseling. They do, groups for people who have just gotten divorced. Uh, so you're competing against free, and you're competing against where there's already a community, right? So have I built my email pipeline or funnel? This is the person I talked with last year. They had a fabulous course. They'd put a lot of work into it, and they're so discouraged because it hasn't sold. And when I started talking about emails and opt-ins, I could see their eyes glaze over. But it's again, it's rocks off the Grand Canyon. You are making something, and it's just kind of going out there, and you're like, oh, okay, I hope you do well. If you haven't built an email pipeline or a community of some kind, where you can create a buzz about what you have. And it could be something as simple as offering resources on your website. If you have a website and you have videos of you talking for 3 minutes about how to use play therapy, or you have a video about what are the 5 things you should do when you discover your partner's having an affair. I mean, you've got resources that people are talking about at the PTO meetings, they're talking about at the barbershops. Then that's community. You don't realize it, but you have fans. You have people that are referring you to others. So if you have done something as simple as that, you can say, yes, but maybe you need to do more. Is my offer clear, and does it target my ideal customer? I used to give my 40-hour training at one price point. But the feedback that I got in the competition, everybody had different price points. Okay, so I was like, okay, I'll do payment plans. And then it was like, okay, but wait, people are wanting more or they're wanting less. So I was like, okay, I'll have 3 tiers. I mean, this has evolved over time, but I have to make my offer. My offer is just, remember, it's what my customer will get. I have to make that very clear. You get a contract, you get a plan, you get time with a grader, you get, right, all of these things. If that's not clear, if you're just saying, hey, this is a 3-hour course on grief. And you know what? If you are selling CEs, that may be all you have to do, right? Because somebody's like, oh my gosh, I have to find CEs somewhere. Oh, there's one, click. All right, great. But if it's not selling, just ask yourself, is it clear? Is it targeting your ideal customer? And what that means is it hitting their pain points? If you don't know your ideal customer's pain points, then it's going to be really hard to sell it. Then you can repurpose them. How do you repurpose unsold courses or low selling courses? Well, most of you have experience with that in my world here. If you've ever taken a webinar from me, you have experience with what I do with courses that aren't big sellers, that aren't high dollar. I turn them into opt-ins in a sense so that people get on my email list, and then they go into the automation where they learn more about Step It Up. They learn more about other things that we have going on on a weekly basis here at Kate Walker Training. So that's what a lead magnet is. A lead magnet is something on your website like this. Grab the schedule. That's a lead magnet. Ready for what they didn't teach you in grad school? That's a lead magnet. But they target 2 different people. Now that's because that's the way my business is built. I have different targets. So I have different lead magnets for different things. But for you, if you had, a guide, that's my business coach talks about creating a guide or creating a checklist, something where people can opt in. And oh, by the way, and I know you guys are wondering what this looks like. So let me stop the share. And those of you who've been in my world, you know exactly what happens. Let's do the essential guide. You guys wanted to know marketing. Anybody want to ask me a question? Okay, so what you're looking at here is an automation in the email program ConvertKit or Kit. And so when people opt in, and all that means is they're giving me their email. So they're going to grab the free guide. Okay, well, that's not helpful, but, oh, I know, I'll take you. Here's one. There it is. There's an opt-in. So people give me their name, they grab the guide, and then they're put into an automation where they receive several emails, and then they're categorized or tagged. And when I send an email, if I have tagged people correctly, then a supervisor won't get an email that's meant for a grad student and vice versa. So if I go back here, offering these things as a lead magnet, if you give me your email, I'll give you a replay of this course. You can create content from the course. I had a course called Badass Basics 2.0, did not sell. So I made it part of Step It Up membership. And I chopped it up into pieces and made it opt-in and lead magnets. The one I used this summer was the 10-minute consultation. That came right from this gigantic course called Badass Basics 2.0. And you can also bundle it with other offers. And you saw that I had done that on the 40-hour training where I have one giant course, but then I have these other courses that didn't sell as well, but they're great for people who are taking the supervisor training because it's wonderful information. All right, so here we are. We got about 10 minutes left. We talked about creating course content. We talked about hosting platforms. You have your checklist about what you need to do and next steps, which is what do you do if it doesn't sell? How do you turn it into a marketing resource, right? I mean, when I made my DVD set, my favorite mistakes, and then the other two, when I went to conference the following year, I bundled it with the t-shirt, another great idea. Don't do t-shirts. So I had my DVDs, I had my t-shirts, and I had something like, okay, if you gave me your email, and I just had a piece of paper and a pencil right on the table, give me your email, I'm going to give you a t-shirt, or I'm going to give you, I was trying to give these things away, but it's always got to be an exchange. If you're going to honor me with your email, and that's an honor. I mean, that is, that gets abused so much, then I need to give you something quality in return, not crap, not something that just ChatGPT could spit out. It's got to be something, because if you're my ideal customer, then I should know you, I should know your pain points, and then I should listen if you don't buy my stuff or you don't opt in where I think you should. So the links to the tools that I use, I included that in your profile. So there are links to Podia, Kit, and not Podia. I found out you're going to have to just go get that on your own. So, but Kit and Lead Pages. Oh, and Camtasia. That's the third one. So Kit and Lead Pages and Camtasia are in your profile. Those are affiliate links. That means I get a kickback, a little percentage of that sale, which goes toward our work here. And then If you're not a Step It Up member, you don't get the replay, but of course, I've got a QR code for you. But first of all, I want to solidify this. Your next steps, if you are just like your mind's blown and you're like, I don't know what to do, and I want to make sure I've answered these questions in the chat, pick one idea and just go back through this video, put it on fast, do the playback speed ×2, and find the part that you're missing and start to build one thing. If you're going to do it live or asynchronous is easy if you've already got a ton of videos. Choose your platform, start with something cheap. Do not get an annual plan at first. Get a monthly plan and just decide if you like a thing. And then find your editing software. Don't get all perfectionist. Publish a first version. And then, of course, join the membership. Then you get the replay. So if you are interested in joining the Step It Up membership, our next intensive, that's what this is. This is an intensive 2-hour CE workshop. We're doing a HIPAA checkup in August. It's a self-audit that won't make you panic, but we're going to go through all the things as you get ready for fall. So I'm going to leave that there and go back through the questions. Best software. Akila, did I answer your question about best software program? Or at least some software programs. And Kendra, same thing. And then how to market. And then Cindy's going to come back to Kimberly's tomorrow and Olivia, so you can hear more about NBCC. So I did online approval for NBCC. It's expensive and it's time consuming. But if you find somebody like Kimberly who will walk you through it, it's great. I did not do it for the webinars. I only am NBCC approved for my asynchronous courses because at the time when I was getting it done, I had not done enough webinars. It was right at the beginning of COVID, and I didn't have many. I suppose I could do it now. Maybe I will after I watch our webinar. Cynthia, I don't know if I answered your question. I love ChatGPT because all those AIs, all they do is scrub the internet. So it can give you what I would give the prompt to chat, Cynthia, I would say something like, give me 5 bullet points I should cover in a presentation to licensed professionals about working with first generation clients. Chat's going to spit out the 5 bullet points. You're going to look at those bullets, and then you can decide where you want to do that research. You can give it to Chat to research, but the last I heard is that I think Chat is only go at 3. The resources are more than 3 years old. So you might have to just do it the old-fashioned way, put it into Google, look for scholarly journals. Trina, I hope I helped you with your imposter syndrome. Just do it. Just put it out there. And then Olivia's coming to the to the webinar hopefully tomorrow, or getting the replay. Sharon, I hope I gave you the whole schematic. I can show you guys again what it looks like on my Trello board. So when I take a course, and please, I'm embarrassed because this is my brain. So this is what it looks like when I go from ideas to recording. So it's downloaded. It's got the transcript. Then if I edit it and I get it onto YouTube, waiting to become a podcast. And this is Buzzsprout is my podcast delivery system. And then it goes over here once it's scheduled. But at the same time, I move this over to Irvin's board because he's going to be processing everything either as an online course or as a training. And then we publish them here. And all of the things he needs to build Podia courses are here. All the descriptions, all the content, the certificates, everything's in one place. So I do have a flow that works for my brain. But again, get out your pencil and paper, your pen and paper, or Post-it notes. whiteboard. I love whiteboards, and map it out that way as well. Okay. I'm going through the chat. Crystal wants a training on Trello. All right. Kit, I talked about in the June webinar, but I agree. I think I'm going to do another one on Kit. Irvin and I are actually going to do a webinar together. I'm going to have to pre-record it though, because his time zone is so far off from ours. But we're going to do a webinar together just showing how we use Trello. I mean, because when somebody is in another part of the world or they're only giving you 5 to 10 hours a week, they have to be able to tag you. You have to be able to tag them and see their progress, right? I want to see things moving. I'm very, that's called Kanban, right? I want things moving. Is that Kanban? Yeah, Kanban is left to right. I don't know. But yeah, I'm happy to do that. So upcoming webinars, don't forget we've got Kimberly tomorrow night. Kimberly Parker, she's going to talk about becoming a NBCC approved provider in August. The intensive is going to be about HIPAA compliance, and we just added a webinar, free one, in August about getting your paperwork in shape. I'm so glad you asked that. Okay, Senta asked, to what degree is it permissible to use other people's material? One of the things that used to be in the rules, but now it's a best practice, is a syllabus. Y'all, when I teach a course at UT El Paso, I'm not teaching Kate Walker stuff. I'm teaching other people's stuff. That's what we do. So if you have a syllabus with your course that has really good references, as long as you're giving credit, two things. You're giving credit to the people or person who created the material. And number two, you are not blocking their material with a paywall. So where it becomes dicey and you're stealing people's stuff is if you said, okay, I'm going to do this course, and the only way you can access the material is if you pay. One of the things we did very early on when we were creating these courses is we created I can't show you right now, but if you go to the courses, you'll see a preview. Podia allows you to have a preview module. And in the preview module, we have our syllabus with hot links. So you can go to any one of the sources, and we say very specifically in our syllabus, we do not block any of our material with a paywall. So in other words, you don't have to pay because we're holding somebody else's stuff hostage, right? It's very, very easy to go find the material anywhere. But if you want the instruction, you've got to come back here. So it's kind of like the old days, right? I'm still going to be selling you a certificate and a quiz. And by the way, I highly recommend you get with an attorney or ChatGPT or both and have a terms and conditions clause. Our terms and conditions are once you buy it, it is non-refundable. I mean, it is considered to be consumed. We have that everywhere. And we still have people that will stop payment on a credit card. But that's when you can go into Podia and you can see, you've gotten into this course. I can see you've made progress. I see the green check marks. So you have a leg to stand on if you need to take somebody to small claims. A lot of stuff. I can't believe we got it all done in 2 hours, and I could probably talk more about it. A book study with a quiz? Yes, Sharon. The only issue is with the book study, it's going to be hard. Again, if 6,000 words is 1 hour, right? Because you don't include the quiz in the hour count. I'll hang out for a few minutes. So if you guys need to go, totally okay. I'll hit pause and say thank you guys for coming.